Hello guys, welcome to the Bean LCVP TM consultancy space. Let's wait for some minutes until more people arrive and we can start. Okay guys, so I think we can actually start and then more people might come on the later. So I will share my screen with you now. Yes. Okay. Now it's there. How it will go, I will have like my time for the presentation. I will show you what it's like being LCVP TM. I will tell you a little bit more about how my experience as LCVP TM was like. And then we will have a space for questions, which is actually the most important part of the consultancy space, because it's when we can actually have a conversation on your main doubts and all the things that you want to know about the role. So if you start having questions since now, you can ask them and you can write them on the chat on YouTube, and I will read them later during the time for questions. So let's start. Welcome to the consultancy space. What we will be see is why are we here? Why we are trying to apply for the role of LCVP TM and why is it so amazingly important? Then what are the main responsibilities and JD of an LCVP TM? Then why is good to be an LCVP TM? And then questions time that I mentioned previously. So if you think why we are here, this is the first thing that comes to my mind, that ISEC is made of people. ISEC is an organization that is extremely dependent on people, and that actually develops people, ironically. So for me, the role of TM is one of the most crucial ones, because if we don't make sure that the people we have in our organization are prepared enough to deliver what they have to deliver, and also to make sure the organization is sustainable and can survive through the years, everything will collapse, literally. So this is, I cannot even begin to explain how crucial I think the role is. So yes, we are made of people, and we need someone to manage the people. Then, regarding our main responsibilities as LCVP TM, as we were mentioning in the consultancy space for being EB and LCVP, one thing that is super important is that before being the head of our specific area, we are EB and we are LCVPs. And what does it mean to be an LCVP? Is to lead, manage, and achieve. These are like the three main fields of work that we will have. Lead, why? Because we will lead our areas, we will lead our coordinators or managers if we have, and also because we will lead our whole LC, because we as LCVPs and EB, we are the ultimate leadership body, and we need to make decisions for our LC, and we need to be role models. Then manage, because of course we will manage all of the resources. More specifically, we will be in charge of people, but we will also many times have to make decisions about money, for example, or any other things. Also, as LCVP teams, we manage a lot of information. More specifically, for example, information about membership and people, which is very valuable, and that could help us a lot. And achieve, because we are here to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves and for our LCs, because this is what will simply nothing less and nothing more than make us achieve peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. So achieving is also a very important part of our role as LCVPs. And when it comes to LCVPs TM, our main MOS, our biggest goal and the main thing we will follow for the whole year will be membership achieving their goal. What does it mean? It means that the MOS of TM has changed in the past year. The whole JD of TM has changed. Luckily, like, we have a clear path of what to do right now, and also we have a new MOS. So what does it mean? That now we finally have a number to follow, just like operational people have. For example, for them has always been the same. They have to achieve approvals, realizations, and completed. But for them, it was not always the same. So now it is, and we need to make sure that our members are simply achieving their goal. So we need to make sure that they are setting their goals, that they are tracking them, that they are prepared to deliver them, and that they are finally achieving them. So this is what we will follow up on during our own experiences at LCVP TM. And going more specifically, this is what the JD of an LCVP TM looks like. Instead of activities, you can see they are divided into 4 main fields. Those are the 4 phases of the TM process: get, develop, keep, and report. We have different small thingies inside of each of them. Inside of get is basically the whole recruitment and onboarding process. It involves talent attraction, talent selection and allocation, talent planning, talent onboarding, everything that is regarding recruitment and preparing the new members that we have in the organization. Develop includes team leader capacity building, includes performance management and national education cycle, and keep includes succession plan, engagement in general. And also in report, it's all that has to do with making sure that we have all the information that we need from each of these phases, and also that we are storing it in a place where it's available to everyone who needs it. Yes, regarding our MOS and KPIs, like, as I was saying before, our MOS is membership. Our measure of success, when we can say that we are successful as LCVP TM, is when our members are achieving their goal. And there you can see it's only a percentage, and actually the number we will pursue is 70%, which is also the number that is being pursued on a global level. Which is like a kind of a decent number to say. If we have 70% of the members who are achieving their goal, we will be achieving 70% of our goal, which is a decent number. So yes, and then KPIs, of course, percentage of achieved of our HR plan. This is like the final part after the get process, the whole recruitment and onboarding. So yes, if we have recruitment and it's successful, we should fulfill our HR plan. But then, of course, comes retention. That is very important to measure as well as productivity, and scores in engagement survey, which will actually kind of tell us how engaged the people is, how much, how likely it is that they will, for example, apply to new leadership roles, which is very important for the sustainability of the organization, and which will tell us if we will have enough pipeline or not, for example. Inside routines, we have our area meetings. If we will have managers or coordinator, which is highly recommended, especially in analysis that have 3 or more operations. Then we'll have, of course, our weekly EB meetings, synergy meetings. These are the most important and actually the ones that will give us most of our results, especially with operations, but also with finance and PD, because we need to make sure that we are supporting exchanges, and the best way to do it is to actually talk to the people who are doing exchanges. Then our monthly commission call that you have with the whole TM commission, the monthly individual call with your LCVP TM, with me, your LC meetings that you will have with your whole LC, and different summits and national and local conferences. Whether, like as we were saying before, we should have synergies with VP's operations, VP's with our VP's finance and PD, because they are also handling resources. So we should have a clear way on how to manage the resources of the LC. The duration, of course, you know, and who to report, of course, you know. And if you are more curious and knowing more details from now on, you can go to the hub and check for the training called CPO University, where you can see a lot about the role of LCVP TM. Okay, so that was a lot of information. And going back a little bit more to the basics, what are the behaviors that an LCVP TM needs to have? They are basically the behaviors of any member of the organization, which are agility, growth, empathy, and eagerness. These are part of our competences. These are part of the core competences. And these are, I like to call them like behaviors or also mindsets or states of minds that we will need to have in the organization, and how we need to face our work and our everyday challenges. So please bear in mind that when you are doing your application, you're also thinking that you want to have these behaviors and that you are actually trying to portray them in your application. And what are the values? Maybe it sounds pretty obvious, but it's really not. And we need to remind ourselves all the time that our values are actually the values of the organization, that they are 6, that they are striving for excellence, enjoying participation, being integrous or having integrity, being sustainable, activating leadership, and living diversity. Anyone who is applying for an EB position will be asked about this, and this is something that we should know, as well as the whole ISEC way. So also, if you are in the middle of the application process, it's not too late to get to know it. And also, as LCVP TM, the role of LCVP TM requires a lot of delivering these kind of sessions about understanding ISEC, and we need to explain it, for example, in the group assessments or in interviews with applicants to join the organization. And we really need to know them and how to explain them, and not only just to explain them, but also to tell them in a way to engage people, because this is actually the core for our organization, and we need to make it look attractive for people, and we need to make sure that it is engaging people. And sometimes we talk about ISEC as if it's not something cool or something that you would want to be. So yeah, as I was saying, it's always a good moment to start. And now I'd like to share with you a little bit about my experience as LCEV. So as you know, I'm from Argentina. I was LCVP TM in ISEC in Rosario in 2016. I didn't apply for TM in the beginning. I was applying to OGV, OGT, and also to marketing, which existed back then. I was applying to those areas because that's where I had the most experience, and I never even thought about TM. I had no idea what was happening in this area, and I was very, very surprised when they told me that I was selected for TM, and I was very scared at the same time because I didn't know what to do. But as time went by, I really loved my experience so much and the role so much, and I fell in love with the area. And I realized how many power I had in my hands and how much I could influence from my LC. Because from my perspective, how I was seeing it, I could influence and be everywhere where I wanted. Like I had synergy with all the operations. I had synergy with all the back office. I also had to talk a lot with my LCP. I had to know about the LC meetings. I had to know about what was happening in the areas. I had to know about everything because everything involved people, and I was in charge of people in my LC. So for me, it was an amazing year. I loved it completely, and my experience was also amazing. It was a lot of work. From we were 7 people. We had IGV, OGV, and OGT, and we had marketing, finance, and TM, and of course our LCP. And it was the most challenging, but also the most rewarding year of my life so far. Even this is my second MC experience, but I can truly tell you that my EB experience was the most challenging of them all and the one that I cherished the most because I honestly felt like we were 7 people literally going against the world to work for our city, like working for our city and improving the way things were working in our city. It was the thing that moved us for the whole year. And we had a very clear goal, a very clear purpose, and we went for it no matter what. We had a lot of challenges, of course. When we started the term, we had only 10 people in the LC, another 10 that were out because it was like holiday time. So we had people working virtually. So I had to kind of manage these people to make sure that they were doing something. We also had the delivery time. I had 5 EPs sleeping in my house because we had problems with accommodation, of course, as it's typical. And they had a huge debt of, I don't know how much it is in zlotys, but it's a lot of money in Argentina. Um, so the first month we were kind of firefighters trying to fix everything. But then after the first 3 months, we kind of had a breaking point during our first local conference. Um, and it was, for us, it was like amazing how much we changed our mindset, and we just decided to just stop complaining or stop putting the blame on the previous EB and whatever they did, because whatever they left for us, it still they grew a lot and they were super successful EB. So we just simply stopped complaining and thinking about them, and we focused on ourselves, on what we were good at, and we focused on what we needed to achieve. And so like that, we managed to grow a lot, like literally 3 times the results that we had previous year in OGX, like in OGT and in OGB. We left the LC with 30 people. We didn't have any more debt. We left actually a bank account with a lot of money. In IGB, we also grew in realizations. And it was an amazing year for me, and we achieved a lot of things. And actually, we were like third LC in the ranking in the whole country, which for us was a huge thing to accomplish. And the phrase that I wrote here is that to understand that to be sustainable, we needed to grow. Because if there's something that I learned in my term as LCVP, it's about how one of my MC in Argentina used to call it. It was the circle of profitability that is composed of 3 parts. On one side, you have members, on the other side, you have exchanges, and on the other side, you have money. So it's a circle, and it's all the time like spinning, and you cannot not have one of them. Like if you want more members, you have more exchanges. More exchanges will bring you more money, and it will bring you more members. If you want more money, you need to do more exchanges, and to do more exchanges, you need more money, more members, and so on and so forth. So this is something that we were really striving for all the time, and for us, it was always about doing exchanges and making sure that the people were prepared to deliver them. And I really learned a lot about how to manage resources and how to make sure that always the organization was put on the first place. So yes, it was super amazing experience, and I really loved and enjoyed, and I learned and grew a lot as a person. So now it's more of the time for you. Like, what are your questions? What would you like to know about the experience? Not yes, mostly most focused about the role of TM, but also if you want to ask me more questions about the role in general as being EB, you can. So I will go to YouTube so you can ask your questions here. Okay, we have one question. What is the biggest challenge in the position of TM? Ooh, amazing question. I would say it depends on how your synergies work. Because for me, synergies is the key to everything. Like, if you have good synergies, half of your job is done. So if you have a good synergy with your whole EB and with your whole LC, for example, recruitment will not be a problem because you can simply make sure that you are that everyone is engaged and that you can wait. I will stop sharing my screen. Yes, if you have a good synergy, you can make sure that everyone is on board and they can help you. Then also another bottleneck or challenge that you can have is that members are not delivering what they should or they are not prepared. But at the same, again, if you have a good synergy with your LCVP's operations, you can simply solve this. Like you can just have a meeting and prepare a plan for them to learn, to be trained, to have better routines. Or also another thing that you can face is that members are not engaged, so they are there, but they're not really doing much or not engaged with the organization. This can also be because the team standards are not being properly delivered. So this is also something that you can easily solve if you have good cooperation and synergy with your EB. So I would say that overall, for me, the main challenge was having like not being the person delivering the results. When you're LCVP back office in general, you're not the one bringing the results. You're the one like making it available for other people to do it in the best way possible. So you need to be really aware of that, and you need to understand that from the very beginning. And you need to understand that you will deliver other kinds of results, and you also need to really be happy about areas performing and giving results, and to understand that this is also your work, because this is something that can also be very frustrating for some people to see that they are not delivering results, but you actually are. It's like the results of operations is the results of the whole EB. So this is something that everyone in the EB should feel responsible and accountable for. So I would say this was the main challenge for me, to understand that I needed to deliver results, but I was not the person doing it. And for example, I also have, as LCVP team, one has to track a lot, like team standards, members achieving their goal, information from members, all these kind of things. And sometimes you might feel like you're being like annoying, or that people don't really want to like report stuff, but really we should not give up. We should always be tracking, because this is our job. So I would say also this, and I think like the answer or how to work with these challenges is to be super persuasive from the beginning, and to have super clear where you want to take the area from the beginning, and what are going to be your focuses. Inform them from the beginning, set expectations with everyone, set the routines with everyone. It's like, I will track you like this, like this, like this. We will have synergy meetings then, and I would like to have this and this information from you, and I will bring you this and this information. And if everything is set from the beginning, there will be no problem at all. But I will say for me, those were the main challenges. Okay, I think I can also talk a little bit about, for example, synergies, because this is not a question, but it's also something that I think should be talked about. Like I was saying, synergy is the most important when you are a VP, back office in general. So it's very important never to forget that they are also people, and that you cannot have a good synergy or cooperation if you're not connected or you don't trust the other people. So this is something that in case you are elected, you should really start building from the very beginning. If you are elected as front office or back office, you really need to work on having good like trust your team, get to know them, understand how they like to work, what they like, who they are, everything. This is super 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 important, because even though we're not in ISEC to be friends, we need to know each other, and we need to be vulnerable with each other, and we need to trust each other. So you would think, oh, but this is like being friends. So yes, like it's very likely that you will become friends with your EV if you're elected. But even if you're not friends, you need to trust them and you need to be vulnerable with them. Because really, in my whole experience, and I think everyone would tell you, if you don't trust your team, and actually this is a theory, this is the 5 dysfunctions of a team theory. Trust is the first dysfunction, is the first problem that you face in an EV. If you don't trust the people around you, you can simply not work with them. Uh, Especially in something like ISEC, that is something volunteer and that we are doing because we want to. We are not getting a monetary reward, so we are actually investing our time to develop ourselves, to do something for our cities and for our LCs. So it's really, really important that we are vulnerable and that we like make an effort to understand the person that is on the other side, and we can connect with them to work. So I would say this is very important. Okay, guys, so I see there are no more questions. Just one last thing that I would like to say that I think is super important for the TM role is that we need to understand all of the processes that are happening in our LC, all of the operational process, all of the processes that happen in finance, the processes that happen in PD. Why? Because, like I said at the beginning, we manage the people of the LC. So we need to understand what they are doing in order to be able to put ourselves in their shoes. And to be able to spot possible bottlenecks or possible things that are not that could not work in the future, or even to see what is going well and that we should keep on doing. So yes, I would say that this is also very, very important, and we should not neglect it. Like, we really need to be involved in all of the processes. We really need to know what every member should be prepared to do, should we know to do, and this will really make our work easier. So yes, I see there are no more questions, but you can always approach me in my Facebook, in my WhatsApp, in my email, whatever you need. I will be more than happy to answer your questions. I wish you the best of luck in your EV selection processes, and who knows, maybe I will see some of you during the October conference, and you will be part of the TM Commission in the next year. So yes, have a great night and see you soon. Bye.